your CRM is HighLevel, built on HighLevel, has a backbone of HighLevel, or you're an M-Suite CRM powered by Make You Growth Customer, and you want a phone number. So what we're going to talk about is exactly how to set that up all the way on through getting you authorized and verified for SMS. So we want to make sure we get you able to go ahead and send text to your customers, leads, and prospects. Now, first thing we are going to do is you're going to start on your dashboard. Go back out here. We're going to launch to our dashboard or our launchpad based on your account settings. Now, this is our demo account for YouTube. So that's why you're going to see there's not a lot of information here. But that being said, we're going to go all the way down in the bottom left navigation tree, down to the gear icon where it says settings. And in those settings, it's going to load our business profile. Now, if you remember from our last video, we just set that up so yours should be completely filled out as well, with the exception of you may not have had a phone number. Well, we're going to fix that for you if that's the case. On the left-hand side, under settings, under business services, you're going to see phone number second from the bottom above WhatsApp. Now, for the phone number, your account, just like our demo account here, doesn't have one set up yet. So we're going to first and foremost set that up. But before we do, I want to just briefly overview the three types of phone number. We can add a regular phone number for calls, texting, sending images, and videos. We can add a number pool, which we're going to use for lead tracking. We won't really get into that here. And then you can add a verified caller ID. And that's going to be if I want to place a call from a number I already control, but I want it to show as something different, that's where we're going to go ahead and use that. So let's go and just create a standard phone number. This is going to be our most common use case. Now here it's going to preload that we are in the United States, which is going to be perfect. And we're going to see different types of numbers down below. Now, as you can see, they are from all different states. And this one isn't even tied to a state. It's just generally known as a US number. We'll show you how to hone that in a moment here. Capabilities, voice call, SMS, and MMS. Voice call, obviously the ability to make a call. SMS, those are your green text messages, just like all Androids use. iMessage is a different system, so these will be green text messages. Just be aware of that. The next piece then, MMS, this is for multimedia, so we're sending images, GIFs, videos, things of that nature. Now the next piece here is type. These ones are local numbers, and they've got an area code. And as you'll see then, our area code on our toll-frees is an 8. It's an 800 series. So 1-800, those are all gone. But there's many other 800 series numbers. That's what these are. Those are your toll-frees. None of these are going to require an address where we have to tie it to a specific address. What we are going to see is the price will change between a local and a toll-free number. Now you're thinking, but I have a specific zip code I want to be in. How do I go ahead and do that? Well, we go back up here where it says United States, and in between refresh results, we can hit filter. Now here the provider is always going to be a number, and what I like to do is, because it's usually the zip code we want to tie it to, it's going to be the first part of the number that we want to match to. So then here you can put any zip code you like. So let's go ahead and do 313, which is the zip code for Wayne County or Detroit, Michigan. Now, I don't want it to be a toll-free, and it won't, being it's a 313 anyways. I do want it to have all three capabilities. So now I can go ahead and hit apply. What we're going to see now then is we are going to see various Detroit numbers. So let's go ahead and just take the first one. So this 313-356-7458. This one is a local number. We're going to go ahead and buy it. What this is going to do then is it's going to load up, actually go ahead and make that purchase. We are going to have to verify our information. So let's go ahead and hit begin verifying. Now our country, so we're going to select United States, and then we're going to have to upload some piece of photo ID. So you can select however you'd like to. In this case, maybe we'd use a driver's license. So we will pick up at a later time with that. So once we go ahead and secure that number, then we want to go to regulatory bundle and address, which is going to be the next piece on our upper navigation bar. So in here, we can go ahead and hit create. If you're a non-US company, you may want regulatory only. If you're a US company, you are going to want to tie it to an address. So select address, go ahead and hit next. Now here we can see the friendly name of the business and then the customer name. So here we're going to want to use the legal name. You could also put any other information if you wanted to tie it to, but typically we'll do that. So then we'll put in an address. Let's just do 1 Main Street, US, Michigan, and we'll do Detroit, and then we'll leave the zip code be. So what this is going to allow us to do then is we are now set up and ready to submit. Perfect. All right. So we'll go ahead and hit submit on this, and then we'll move on to the next piece. So for our next piece, we're going to keep going down the line here. We're going to go to the Trust Center. So for the Trust Center, there is the wizard. And the main thing with the wizard is I'm going to show you some of the naming conventions. They're going to really help us get a sense here. This part is really important for getting the ability to text. In fact, it's the only way to get the ability to text. As we can see, we're currently unverified, which means if we try to send an SMS text message or an MMS, an image or a video, it will not go through. But what we do want to do before we do this piece are the easy ones. So we're going to go ahead and go to Staken and Stir, which is for voice. This is going to help us verify for the caller ID. So we can go ahead and follow the steps here very, very quickly, get us registered with that. CNAME, we can start this registration. What it's going to allow us to do is plug in some information about the business address, your contact information, and that's going to ask for a little more final detail. This is very, very simple to do, so I really wouldn't worry about completing it. And then voice integrity, once you've got the CNAM, then we can go ahead and get registered for voice integrity. That's also really helpful to do. It's going to help you show up as a real caller ID versus something else. So we're going to skip back now to the ATP, and we're going to go right into the brand SMS rather than using the wizard. I want to break it down for you step by step. So with the brand SMS, once you've got your phone number secured, you're going to be able to go ahead and apply here. Now, the brand is going to be really simple. Quite honestly, use the examples that are provided or go to ChatGPT, tell it what you're trying to register for, and it's going to go ahead and get you that information going. The next piece then is the campaign SMS. This is where things get a little trickier. So we'll walk through this together here and go ahead and create a campaign. So we're going to create a campaign and hit standard. By default, it says low volume mixed, recommended. I would encourage to leave it there unless you do have one of these other specific use cases. Maybe you need a number that's just for two-factor or notifications of some type. You can do that, but I would encourage low volume mixed is usually what we're going to want to go with. The other thing here is we've got examples. So we can just copy and paste these examples right in, right? And this is going to help us understand what all we're using. So in this case, this campaign is going to likely be approved on the first shot just using the samples. Now, the key here is we do need to enter in our information. So this campaign sends account information, confirmation, reminder messages to customers, yada, yada, with company names. We want to change that to our company name. And then we want to go ahead and add a website. And then again, in here, because we already did it, we can just go ahead and copy and paste our company name in. So that's going to be all we need for the first one. The key here is, unless you have a specific use case that really varies from this quite dramatically, then use the examples. It's really just the simplest thing I can tell you. It's going to ensure approval sooner than if we did our own. And I've had where I try to use ChatGPT to customize them more, and really the formatting is very quite specific. So we want to use, when at all possible, the examples that are included here. Now, this phone number, obviously, we'd want to change that out to ours as well. I'll leave it be. And then, of course, we've got the phone numbers. Now down here, last one, again, we want to put in our names, our company name, and go ahead and put in a rescheduling appointment link. If you have not yet set up your calendar, that's okay. Want to encourage you to go ahead and right click on your tab, duplicate it, go into the calendar setup, find that video, follow all those stages, then return here, drop in a reschedule link, and then we can move forward. Now the next piece here, by default it's checked. The message will include an embedded link. We want to leave that be. The message will include phone numbers. We want to leave that be as well. If you are age gated, right? So if there is specific content that for whatever reason is adults only or is specifically targeted to children, then you do need to be compliant with various guidelines. I leave that to you. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm certainly not your lawyer. So you need to figure that on your own. But unless you have specific adult content or specific content for kids, you're probably fine to go ahead and leave that unchecked. And then messages and queued content related to direct lending or other loan arrangement. If you're in that financing loan space, you know, and you can go ahead and follow the appropriate step there. Now the user consent, again here, we've got customizations that are going to help us go ahead and get that set up. And then we have the opt-in message, which lets people know, hey, you know what, you've opted in to receive messages from us. And then at the very bottom here, you're going to want to acknowledge. There will be a fee basis, which is going to help you to sort that out. And you're acknowledging then that you'll be charged for whatever the compliance rules are, and et cetera. That's going to depend on your plan, what you've selected up front, and what level of service you require. But everyone through this phone number service will go ahead and have a registration fee. It is extremely low. I don't know for absolute certain, but my understanding is that that is not inflated. That's just the cost of the service itself to HighLevel. So you go ahead and then hit submit, and you will now be in line or in queue to have your phone registered. Now, once you've done that, when we go back to our trust center, you'll then see on a brand level, have we been approved? And on the campaign level, have we been verified? You'll also be notified if it's been rejected for any reason. And if you use the ATP wizard, you'll see that you are approved and approved once that's all set. You'll also then see for your voice integrity that once you've completed the shake and stir, that's done. The CNAM, that's done. And then you've gone ahead and registered for the voice, you'll see that that is also completed. So with that, you now have a fully functional phone number that you can send messages from. Of course, you've always been able to make calls since the moment you set it up, and you are good to go. So keep watching for the next video. We're going to talk about how to actually place a call, and then we'll talk about how to actually send a message using the system.